very warm welcome. Raise your hands if you ever got late to reach your desired destinations. Raise your hands if you ever got late to convey your feelings and your messages. Raise your hands if you ever felt late to build a successful career for yourselves. Well, I was also the one who used to raise hands on all of these subjects before eventually this talk happened. So, I was 18 years of old when I gave my first international speech, and alongside me, there was this little girl of 5 who was also delivering her first speech. Watching her, the competitive Astha in me just told my dad that I am too late to be one. At the age of 19, I published my first book, and alongside me again, there was this little boy of 4 years who had this 3 books to his account, made me a bigger banger deep in that, bro, you are too late again. These things eventually happened on and off when at the age of 20, I stepped into the world of content creation. Over there were a lot more children, teens, adults who were already ahead of me and just left me in this situation where I always questioned, ignored, and stressed the beauty of my own journey. This journey has somewhere made me realize that this society too is fixated on early achievements, short-term successes, and this 12 plus 5 formula where at the age of 27 you are having a good house, a better job, a caring partner, and whatnot. But the problem actually starts arising when someone tries to walk out of the sleep, or it doesn't work according to these prefixed standards of the society. At the age of 30, if you are not married, then obviously it's a very big question that aren't you too late to have a partner and children around yourself? You have studied medical for the 35 years of your age, and now suddenly you want to be a fashion designer. Is it good, or have you lost it? What is the state? If you are doing over and over, if you are changing your profession from one to another till the age of 40, are you sure that aren't you too late to choose one path for yourself? These all realizations has made me understand that it's our age which works as a ticking time bomb, that with every passing second, this world is making us realize that we are too late to be one. Having a successful career at a meager age is very good. But if it is not your picture, then getting disheartened is clearly not the point. Today in front of me, many parents are sitting. And if from this stage I quote that it's okay to be late, then many parents wouldn't agree to me, or this is something that they don't want their child should learn. So for all the heads who don't agree to my statement, I would like to put forward this situation. Let's take a situation where we have 2 plants as 2 different individuals, like plant A and plant B as 2 different children having different growth rate. Plant A is the one who is having short step and deeper roots. And on the other edge, we have is plant B, which has an elongated stem and shallow roots. Plant A depicts a slow growth rate, but a deep intellect which is under the ground, which is not visible to these naked eyes. And on the contrary, when we have plant B, which is having shallow roots depicting a less of intellect, a less of knowledge, and a less of strength, that is also clearly not visible to the naked eye. Now let's assume at the time of problem, hardships, difficulties, and storm, there is like a 80% that plant A will withstand strong because of its deep approach. And plant B can shatter anytime because of the shallow approach. The whole purpose was to tell you all that if someone is having a slow growth rate or if having a slower edge or a weaker edge on the outside, it clearly doesn't define that they are weak, countless, or less competitive according to the outer world. But when someone is getting delayed in their process, they are just making themselves a better version of themselves. Delay is not the drawback because it's the silent sign which is making you better day by day and enhancing you to be a best version of yourself. Initially, when we talk about growth, success, there are worldwide so many formulas, algorithms, and 2-minute principles to get successful. But no one actually talk about that what if someone is late to be there? What if someone is having difficulty to adapt that pace? As per a survey, it was being found out that a human brain have 70,000 thoughts a day. That means human brain is having 70,000 plans which we all can execute. We can execute them, or there is like a 50% chance that the execution goes wrong, or 50% chance that the resultant output is clearly not in our favor. But do you think that should be the point of stagnation for individuals? Forget everyday delays. I talk about the very famous personalities to whom we all admire. First is J.K. Rowling. We all know her story that at the age of 32, she published her first book. But do you all know the behind story that before the book was being published, it was rejected 12 times? And she was already 5 years late to be a published author. If I take another example of Colonel Sanders, a very famous entrepreneur, we know that he is an entrepreneur of the KFC, which is the most famous fast food joint. We all have been there and had lunch with our families. But do you know, at the age of 65, he reached that destination. Before reaching there, he changed 18 professions in his lifetime, and his recipe was 1,000 times rejected. Don't you feel that these two examples are the clear definition that it's okay to be late? Because if you are getting late into the process, it is because of your failures. And late itself states that you learn your assignments towards efficiency. It's a greater definition of late that we all ignore in our day-to-day lives. So when someone realizes that they are late, then there are only two options. First, the individual just drop their process and that becomes the point of their stagnation. Or the other half, where we can just adopt the core mechanism like the way I did in my life. The core mechanism states consistency. C stands for consistency of your task. That no matter how fast or slow you are consistent in doing those tasks and efforts on a continuous pace. O stands for the optimization of time. Like we have to utilize our time into the best way possible. R stands for the reality checks. Now, reality checks from a third individual can get very harsh and very terrifying, but if these reality checks are being given to you by yourself, this will actually help you to become a better version. E stands for the efficiency, which is being carrying forward from the word late. That efficiency tells you that what are the keynotes which are going wrong in your process and what are the things that are actually benefiting you. Now the choice clearly resides in our hands that what type of individual we want to be. Whether we want stagnation in our lives or just adopt the core mechanism. Thank you.